This program coordinator, Dr. S. Shekhar sir, along with the senior most professor in RLIMS, Dr. S. Pugalindi sir, to have their presence on the stage.
Good morning to one all present here. So this is one of the special events to thanks college management, respected principal sir, management executive, principal, vice principal and dean academics, and faculty members and head of the department Dr. M. Subramaniam sir, for allowing us to conduct this program. Just I want to share a few things before this events going to start. The objective of this program is the nuances of cyber security in Fintech. Security is a major aspect in everyday life. Most of the people who have been affected by this cyber crime and cyber security is the students. Because the students are more close to the IoT things and the technologies, devices that they are using on everyday life. So today's section, I hope our chief guest will give you the importance from the students' aspects and how it has been used and how you have to be aware in everyday's life and how the cyber security is important in financial technologies handling a huge number of data for analytics purpose. Without the data, you can't be able to take your decisions on business improvement. At the end of the section, there will be a question and answer section. Feel free to ask the questions. He is an expert in cyber security for more than 2 decades. He has been in IT industry. After that, he was moved on to cyber security. He has completed a lot of certifications on cyber security as well. Without further delay, now I would like to invite our head of the department, Dr. M. Subramaniam sir, to have an inaugural opening of this event. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
It's my humble privilege to welcome the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Instead of investing much time, we both are known together for last 6 years' time. So initially, we met, myself and Satish met in a program at Jain University during 2019. So till that time onwards, we are at least keeping in touch. A year ago, he came online.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to...
Then I was telling him, you need to be here in our campus to deliver a session on cybersecurity. One of the top 100 cybersecurity professionals from India, Satish Kumar Dwibhashi. You'll understand from his thought-provoking speech at the end of the session. I've also requested him to conduct technical session to our students exclusively later sometime. I requested Dr. Shekhar sir to do this arrangements, and we'll do it definitely. So instead of investing and wasting much time, let us now listen to the profile of our guest speaker. Before that, I would like to invite Dr. Pugalindi to have a couple of words, then we'll initiate the session.
Morning to all. So we welcome the speaker of the day, Mr. Satish Kumar Dwibhashi, and also the other guest, Dr. Kundavi Madam from RLIMS Kalaslingam College of Kalaslingam College of Research, So she has done a session, bridge course. Welcome you, madam. So this session, as told by our director, so this is a very, very important area. Technology, there is a lot of benefits, but you have to be careful with this security issues. So cyber security plays a major role. So in most of this banks, I think the speaker, the author, the speaker, he is the authority in cyber security in India. So he would tell some case studies and what is happening. You know, as students, how you are hacking others, and you heard about how the company's accounts are hacked. So that's why this cyber security plays a major role. So I look forward that all the students interact and have a very gainful knowledge. Thank you for the session. Thank you. Yeah, now I invite the other.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, I think I just now had a session with the first years, the stars of today, according to me. All the others, it's a really a pleasure and an honor. I personally thank Dr. Subbu sir because he has been an inspiration for a lot of things, in fact. So you all are honored to be having Subbu sir amongst you all as a leader for you all. So that is one thing. And today's message to you all as an MBA aspirant would be, point number one, I've already shared with the first years today. First thing, the technology and how important as a communicator, the way you communicate matters a lot. It doesn't matter what you are and how you are, the way you communicate, put it across, and the synchronization between the mind and what you act matters a lot. So that was the second thing which I told. And the third thing which I told was basically the cultural thing, because today I handled global business histories. The cultural diversity matters a lot. Today, when I was interacting, most of you all were from Tamil Nadu only. So I have traveled not much of Indian places, but still wherever I went, be it I was working for IIM Ahmedabad. So the culture aspect matters a lot, the diversity aspect. So that is very important. So these would be my takeaways. And just now, before closing my session to the first years, it was a coincidence. I didn't even know that Satish is going to take over. I think the first years, if you remember, before leaving the session, I told technology is very important. At the same time, the adverse effect should be taken care. Yes or no? Yes, no, first years? Yes, correct? So I didn't even know that Satish sir was taking over, but still, coincidentally that link had happened today. So how important technology is. We should not be like Nokia, which should not join hands with technology, but at the same time, we should not get taken away by the bad side of technology. So that I think that part is going to be touched upon. I'm in the right platform, I think so. And thank you for the opportunity for me to join amidst the young minds and the experienced mind over here. So I am in my mid-career over here, I would say. So all the very best. I would take the opportunity and ask Subbu sir to allow me to visit next year also, to witness I would say that the students of whom I interacted the first years, I have committed them that I will once again visit you all, maybe to check out who are all have already started a business. That's what is my request to you all, and my, happy dream, I would say, for you all. Thank you once again, and thank you once again to the management and the entire team present here behind the screens of this event. All the very best to you all. Thank you.
Kundavi ma'am this morning handled a session on business history to all the first year MBA students. She has come all the way from Kalasilingam University for this purpose. Once again, let us all put our hands together for the ma'am. She has come all the way from Kalasilikam University. Thank you, ma'am. Now, we all must be knowing that technology cannot be separated from the walks of all our life. In walking you through the brief profile of our chief guest, now let us pay our attention to the audio clip that will walk us through about the chief guest profile.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to introduce a distinguished professional in the field of cybersecurity, Satish Kumar Dwibhashi. Satish Kumar Dwibhashi has recently taken the helm as the Chief Information Security Officer at Credit B, a leading fintech platform. With a robust career spanning over 2 decades, Satish has been a trailblazer in the cybersecurity domain, steering numerous organizations towards fortified digital landscapes. His extensive experience includes pivotal roles in enhancing cybersecurity frameworks, implementing cutting-edge security technologies, and driving strategic initiatives to combat cyber threats. Satish's profound knowledge and strategic foresight have earned him accolades and respect across the industry. Beyond his professional achievements, Satish Kumar Dwibhashi is known for his unwavering commitment to fostering a culture of security awareness and resilience within organizations. His leadership is not just about securing systems, but about empowering people to be vigilant and proactive in safeguarding their digital environments. Join us as we delve into the insights and expertise of Satish Kumar Dwibhashi, a visionary leader shaping the future of cybersecurity at Credit B. Ladies and gentlemen,
Good morning, all of you. So, first of all, thank you, Dr. Shubh Aarambh sir and the other dignitaries. It's always a pleasure to be among the young minds. There's a lot to cover. I have plenty of slides, but I'll skip a few of the slides. I was not sure on how much time I have. So while I'm sure most of you here understand the importance of technology, so my topic is basically about talking about the nuances in cybersecurity in the fintech area. So what I've done, the initial few slides I'll talk about the fintech. As Dr. Subhi said, last time I did a session, I think it's there online also, you can go through. That was more about the whole technology, how technology evolved. But today I'm not going to talk about technology involvement. I think the focus is predominantly on fintech. How fintech is really disrupting the way we all use technology in the payment space or in the overall. And let's also make it a little more interactive. I'm sure all of you are users of fintech. Each one of you carry a smartphone. Each one of you are using some sort of a application, like the mobile wallet, like Phone Pay. How many of you are using Phone Pay or Paytm or Google Pay? Others are using still cash. I don't see every hand. I know I can see a majority of hands. So I think that's the background. We'll talk about how fintechs are disrupting. So let's go to the next slide. This is quickly about me. As I was already introduced, silence please. There's a lot of. So overall in the 3 decade, the initial decade I spent time in technology, predominantly come from an IT background. Usually from IT the progression happens to cybersecurity. So the last 2 decades I spent a lot of my time very passionate in this domain. In cybersecurity, there are a lot of certifications. You can see a host of certifications which are all industry certifications towards the cybersecurity domain. So as it was told, I'm basically currently the Chief Information Security Officer for a fintech company, predominantly into the NBFC space. I'm sure most of you heard NBFC, which is a non-banking and financial corporation, which is also a regulated enterprise by regulated bodies like RBI and others. So prior to that, I was with a adtech company called Inmobi. Before that, I spent close to 6 years with a fintech group called PayU. I'm sure most of you heard of PayU. PayU is a very large, again, a payment system company. So I spent close to a decade now in the fintech space. So I'm very passionate to talk about the whole fintech space. That's where the initial slides I put, how the whole fintech also got evolved. And then of course, then we'll move to cyber security, because the focus is to talk cyber, less about fintech. But because I want to set the context, set the stage first, how fintechs are disrupting. So my initial slides are on typically fintech. And the word fintech has been used so much. It's not just fintech alone, but the fintech is what? The technology disruption in the financial space. But I'm sure you heard other terms like insurtech, because insurance also is getting disrupted. Do you all agree? It's not just financial sector alone. Rather, if you ask me, tech has been the backbone for many enterprises, many startups. Even there are new terms like health tech. Every space tech is getting added and getting, in fact, if I can use the word disruption, there's a lot of disruption happening in this space. So hence it's very important for all of you to understand this space. So initially, my initial few slides are on purely fintech, and then we'll move to cybersecurity. So this is a quick agenda. Not making maybe each of the item I have few slides, but I'll make it very quick. Please stop me wherever you want to know more. I'll be happy, because I'm a practitioner. I'm not only talking, I do this what I speak day in, day out. I've been doing this. I've been also actively, I train, coach, mentor in these spaces. So please feel free to stop me any point of time. I'll be happy to answer them. So this is a very important slide. Please all of you pay some attention. And purposefully I put this because while the topic is fintech, there's a lot of the whole ecosystem. It's not just fintech alone. If you look at the overall, the fintech, insurtech ecosystem, you can see the top left, which all of you already are using very actively. Do you agree? What we call the paytech. I'm sure most of you guys do a lot of online shopping, yes or no? So every time you do online shopping, at the end, when you make payment, that payment checkout page, what we call, right? The checkout page, which is nothing but, which is getting disrupted in the industry, because I keep talking this in many forums. While you can do a lot of e-commerce, lot of these e-commerce sites, you are very happy to shop on the sites, but you're very restless at the last page because you want to quickly make payment. It is something very similar, because I love to talk stories. How many of you gone to malls and shoppings, especially you are okay to spend an hour, 2 hours to do a lot of shopping, right? You want to take the cart, fill the cart. You are fine to spend 1 hour, 2 hours, maybe along with your spouse or with your children. But are you not restless at the payment space, yes or no? Can someone tell me what is that final payment where there is a person, right, sitting and billing, the point of sale, what we call? So there's a lot of disruption happen even in the point of sale, right? Point of sale, because why quickly you want to make the payment, get out, because you are okay to spend 1 hour in the mall, but at that space you don't want to waste time in just because you feel very restless. Same way, you may spend a lot of time in Amazon, Flipkart or any other shopping site, but at the end, how many of you agree? You're fine, you added cart, everything is fine, but at the end, the payment experience. Can someone tell me what is the payment experience? What do you do? At the last leg of the payment experience, maybe many years back, we were making payment through credit card or a debit card, or do you agree? Earlier the options were very limited. You can pay through credit card or a debit card. I'm sure all of you today, thanks to UPI, thanks to all these digital wallets. So today the checkout experience, the payment experience is much more faster. I'm sure all of you would have booked train ticket through IRCTC, right? At the end, it asks you whether to pay through credit card or a debit card, or even it allows you to pay through all the wallets, whether it's PhonePe or GPay or any mobile wallet. That whole the payment space, that's what we call Paytech. Paytech is how does technology allows all of you to make these payments more seamless, much faster, with a better experience. And the most important is less friction and better experience, and quickly you want to make the payment. So most of the time earlier in the payments, right, I'm sure all of you, when you use a credit card or a debit card, right, there's a additional factor of authentication, OTP comes on your mobile phone, so there are possibilities of a lot of failures in all these different legs. So hence there's a lot of innovation, disruption happened in that space, and that's a very important space called Paytech. I'm sure each one of you use that. Whether you want to do a money transfer, see while my story is around India, Fintech, because India is at the best. In fact, I think you'll be surprised to know we are far ahead than even US, especially in the Fintech space. You'll be surprised to know still in US there are people who still cut checks. When I say cut checks, still write checks. When was the last time you wrote a check? I think we are all slowly forgetting, right? We don't know where is the checkbook, because today we are so used to digital payment. So while Fintech is not new for the world, especially, how many of you heard of a company called PayPal? PayPal was the very, very early leader, right? Do you remember? PayPal was the early leader, did a lot of disruption in making payments, accepting payments, making payments internationally, globally. So no doubt, but I think our India story is much far ahead of I think India, suddenly there's a lot of disruption. There are plenty of payments players today. Of course, I have a slide. While I can't talk every fintech player in India because there are hundreds of them, I will talk about certain few unicorns. I'm sure all of you heard of a term called unicorn, right? I'll talk about the unicorns. I have a slide. There you'll enjoy. I'm sure most of you may be using one of the services from that unicorn fintech player. But just coming back to, so Paytech, all of you are already using it. I don't think anything I need to explain. There's a huge innovation disruption happening in the lending tech. How many of you heard of this term lending tech? See, while the focus is fintech, but under fintech, paytech, lendtech, wealth tech and insure tech. These are the 4 important areas today making lot of disruption. I can take examples. Like while in the pay tech, you all are already using Phone Pay, Google Pay, Amazon Pay, or whichever Paytm, all these are they're making your payments experience much faster, better, easier. Yes or no? I don't think today anyone uses NEFT or IMPs. We use for a larger transactions, but usually for small payments, right? For small merchant payments, we are very... Similar way, lending tech, because I come from that space. Earlier, taking a loan, how tedious it was, right? How many of you, I know students would have not taken loan, but I'm sure. What is the process of taking a loan? You have to go to a bank, apply for a loan, right? Of course, there's a lot of formalities. I'm not saying banks, no doubt, banks still are very large, especially for large home loans or car loan. They're still preferred, banks are preferred. But there are a lot of fintech players for a quick loan. You want to buy a mobile phone, you want to buy something very quick. So there are today lending tech, because that's again, how many of you heard of this buy now, pay later? I'm sure each one of you would have used, what is buy now, pay later? You just buy now and pay later in quick installments. Sometimes the merchants make your life more easy. They say, okay, it's free EMI. So all that basically, it's nothing but giving you credit. They are giving you credit. Not necessarily all of you may be having credit card, but the whole lending tech space also has really become a great space. Do you all agree? Because there are still, of course, that needs certain improvements in certain more areas, but still, because not everyone will have a credit score. I'm sure most of you know the credit score, CIBIL score, right? There are different scores. The banks prefer to see that unless your credit score is not good, you're not credit worthy, they may not give you loan. But the first time user may not have a credit score. That's exactly where the tech companies are taking risk, or also using some other kind of data. Probably the way that you're making payments, using Phone Pay or Google Pay or whatever. So that data can be used. So I think today we're also talking about a lot of data analytics, data science, AI, ML. So in that context, because do you all agree, all of you have a lot of digital footprint? Yes or no? What do you mean by digital footprint? The moment you get up, right? You start your WhatsApp, right? There's a lot of digital footprint today. You buy something, so all that data, today there's a lot of data which can be consumed by these technology companies, and they're making decisions based on your data patterns. So in that context, lending tech, I don't want to, we have a lot of things to cover. So I'm sure you understood, lending tech is nothing but basically giving you quick loans. I don't want to talk anything about my company, but generally there are a lot of lending tech companies who claim that they can give you loan in flat 20 minutes. In flat means you download an app, you have to put certain details, say next. Probably if everything goes well, of course they'll ask you your Aadhaar or some other details, but if everything goes well, smoothly, maybe in the next 20 minutes the money is in your bank account. That is the technology enablement. Can you believe in 20 minutes you are getting a loan? So that's the power of technology. That's the power of disruption. That's again the power of data. We're not talking only the technology aspect, but today, thanks to a lot of all these algorithms, data analytics, AI. So that's the whole. While the pay tech is all about payments, lending tech is all about how to provide this lending to consumers, customers in a faster, seamless way. So insure tech, I'm sure most of you guys, all of you are driving some bike, or yes or no? The moment you buy a new bike, insurance is mandatory, yes or no? Can you have a vehicle without insurance? No, insurance is mandatory. It's a regulatory requirement, because naturally you can't take the risk of buying a new bike and something happens, right? So insurance, again, insure tech, there's a lot of innovation. Traditionally, not quoting names, the traditional insurance companies, right? The process was very manual. It's not about buying insurance. You buy insurance for what purpose? You buy insurance for getting claims, right? Whenever you had difficulty, you had an accident or you had some other damage. So how do you claim that? How many of you agree that that process was very, very tedious? Yes or no? It was not easy. How many of you are using ACO? Again, I'm not doing promotion for them, but how many of, I think it's so easy, right? You download an ACO app. I'm not saying ACO alone. There are other new age insurance applications. That's because ACO, what they've done, they've leveraged technology. Of course, even ICICI Lombard also does the same. No doubt, I'm not talking about the bigger, larger players. The bigger, larger players anyway are embracing technology. We are talking about this small, especially, I'm not saying small, all the startups who came with a lot of these new ideas, and then they're scaling these whole ideas with a lot of volumes, giving the best of the best experience to the consumers by using technology. That's the whole topic of discussion. Fintech, it's not just about only, so overall, the whole ecosystem, while the PayTech has been very, very popular, but then lending tech, insure tech, and of course the last, not the least, is wealth tech. How many of you are investing in some stock market or mutual fund? Because that's also the new age of investments, yes or no? Do you agree? Because gone are the days where you want to put your money into fixed deposit only where it's safe, but then the growth may not be that much. But then opening a demat account, doing some stock, buying stocks, selling stocks and all has not been so easy the way we're talking about loan. Do you all agree? I'm sure as you grow and as you start working, you'll start putting your money back to some investments, buying mutual fund. I'm sure you all are aware of mutual fund or stocks or equities. But again, how many of you heard of this company called Zerodha? Excuse me? Zerodha. No one heard? No one heard Zerodha? It's one of the very large fintech, or I can say wealth tech. Grow, I hope you have heard of it. Grow, the way traditionally people used to go to ICICIdirect.com or ICICI. I'm talking about the alternatives of traditional. So anyway, this is quickly about the area. I just wanted to touch upon the ecosystem, not just about, because while we talk fintech, so this is the overall fintech ecosystem. Of course, there can be more categories coming in, but these are the current trends. Again, same thing with a little different connotation. So we have online payments, lending and financing is a big area. A lot of today robotic advisory kind of services, wealth tech, insure tech. Now I will spend some time in number 6, that is reg tech. Now it's a very new term, helping financial companies to comply against regulations, because the biggest challenge, I have a slide to talk about the biggest challenge for the financial companies, all the fintech companies or NBFCs or even for banks, is lot of compliances, lot of regulations. I'm sure all of you agree to the term about regulations, correct? Regulations, there are plenty of regulations. Regulations are good, important for the broader ecosystem. But how do you manage regulations? For that, there is a new category called Reg Tech, which is regulatory technologies, which we'll discuss. And of course, I'm sure all of you are will be learning data analytics, AI, machine learning, blockchain. These are all the new trends. So the same thing in a different, of course, adding a little more. We are living in a world of robotic process automation. There's a lot of new disruption, especially on the cloud. A lot of cloud adoption, not only by banks. Every enterprise today is embracing technology. Do you all agree? Because there's a lot of technology being embraced by every enterprise. Of course, startups are born in cloud. When I say born in cloud, they start their whole systems in cloud itself. So these are all various other fintech trends which are very important for all of you. All of you should have some basic information about each of these trends, because tomorrow as you start, you get into your professional journey, these are the areas which probably you will be referring to or working with. So this is what I was talking about. How many of them are you aware of? So what all are you using already? I'm sure every time you make a payment, suddenly the Razor Pay page will come, right? Razor Pay or PayU or some payment gateway page. Do you agree? So I'm sure all of you are using Paytm or PhonePe. So these are again, I told you the list can be much bigger. I just wanted to make it a small list, which is nothing but the unicorns. The unicorns in India, all these are typical Indian startup kind of companies, but they have grown so bigger. They have become, I'm sure all of you heard the term unicorn, right? Unicorn is, of course, there's a term recently coined called Sunicorn, soon to become unicorn, right? Soon to become unicorn is a Sunicorn. I'm sure you all know the startup journey, right? As they start growing, right? And finally they become a unicorn. So take some time. I think each of them, I'm sure you're aware, I've spoken about, say, for example, BillDesk. BillDesk is very known for bill payments. I'm sure whenever you go to a POS machine, you go to a shop, you swipe your card. How many of you seen that white color, that swiping machine is from Pine Labs? I don't know if you heard of Pine Labs. Pine Labs is again a Indian large fintech player. They predominantly make those POS machines. Once upon a time, the POS machines used to be only imported, maybe from Ingenico and all. Today we have POS machines from Pine Labs, and of course, I'm talking, they manufacture, they run the system, they run the whole ecosystem. So each of them are really creating waves. I'm sure I told you ACO is the insurance, general insurance. They also started medical insurance. CoinDCX is mostly to crypto. I know crypto also is one other large area which is growing. I don't want to expand each one of them, but I'm sure you relate. I'm sure you will not miss easily 2 or 3. You're already using it. I'm sure in your mobile phone there will be Paytm or a PhonePe or some other wallet, some other solution which you or your family members are actively using and getting benefit. So this is a very important slide. What are the fintech challenges? While I can keep talking one full day about the benefits, no doubt about the lot of great things fintech players are doing, while the fintechs are doing a lot of disruption, innovation, equally there are certain challenges, especially when we're talking about systems on the cloud, we're talking everything on the internet, everything is e-enabled, everything is based on internet, on cyber bandwagon. So there are challenges around data security, privacy, which I can talk one full day. That's exactly how do you secure your the whole cyber environment. I have a lot of slides in the end about cyber security, what are the biggest risks in cyber today. While it's great to be on the internet, but there are bad sides, there are adverse effects. There are bad guys, right, who are constantly trying to steal information. Steal your money. I'm sure all of you have been listening to the stories. They hit the headlines. So there are a lot of challenges around that. We'll discuss that at the end about cyber security. The second. Regulatory compliances which banks or, so earlier it was only banks or even NBFCs, even today RBI. How many of you are aware of RBI? Reserve Bank of India, which is the central bank of India or the regulatory body for all these fintechs, NBFCs and banks. So they have a lot of compliance requirements which are being, so they come out with a lot of guidelines, a lot of requirements for these players, and they have to comply against. Compliance is very, very important, especially in this space, because compliance helps consumers, right? Because you as a consumer, right, you want your rights to be protected, you want your data to be protected, you want your money to be protected. Very hard-earned money you're putting into the bank or a fintech wallet, that need to be protected. So that's the, so regulatory bodies work at the interest of consumer. At times it becomes that too much of regulations, it may look like it slows down the business. Especially for large bank it is fine, but for a small fintech or growing fintech where they feel that for them innovation is key. I'm sure you all agree, they constantly innovate, right? Constantly they are innovating, adding a lot of value, adding features, but equally they also have to be equally compliant with all the regulations, regulatory bodies. So I have one slide on the regulatories. What are the typical regulatory bodies? While I don't want to talk globally, but typically in India, like each of these fintech players are regulated by one or more regulatory authorities, which is very, very important. How many of you are aware recently that the Paytm Payments Bank, RBI had to literally, because I'm sure not quoting them, but it was there in public domain, right? We all know what happened with Paytm Payments Bank, and even some leading banks have been questioned by RBI to improve the compliance posture. Clear? So improving compliance posture, complying with regulations are mandatory. They are not a choice. It has to be done mandatorily. So, and there are other challenges. Of course, integration today, people work in partnership. So there have been a lot of debate. So fintechs are great, but can someone answer me, are fintechs competition for banks? No. Please understand, we are living in an ecosystem, a world where partnership works, right? So today, banks and fintechs, all the startups, they all work together. It's a partnership model. It's a collaborative model. Each benefit from, because banks are very large. They are very large, but they don't have time to innovate. So innovation is done by fintech players. And of course, so a lot of this innovation which fintech players are doing constantly in technology, that gets embraced by banks. Banks use them. So it's a partnership. It's not. So I don't think that fintechs are competitors for banks, right? They all work in an ecosystem. So in that context, why did I get this point? Number 3, do you all agree integration and interoperability is very important? Yes or no? We are living in a society, a world where they all have to exist. We all have to exist together. So all of you, if you are using a Uber or a Ola or those kind of application, finally at the end the payment, right? It basically hands back the control back to some payment gateway. The payment gateway talks to the bank, they're enabling the payment. So it's a complete, I don't want to talk too much technology. It is called API driven. API is the way how systems talk to each other. Application programming interface. I don't want to talk too much technology, but we are living in an API world. So API security is also an important area. So all this integration, interoperability, multiple systems working together, I told you, together is what is one of the biggest, it can be a challenge. Scalability, how to scale, because suddenly a startup being successful, they scale very quickly. And finally, the customer satisfaction, and of course the last point is rapid technology, because innovation, suddenly we saw AI has been there for a while, but suddenly after ChatGPT, how many of you are using ChatGPT? See, I can see a lot of hands, right? So are you using ChatGPT to do your homework or to write articles or whatever your professor has been asking, you're taking help of your ChatGPT, correct? No, nothing wrong. But while AI has been there for a while, suddenly ChatGPT became a big talk of the town because it generates, do you agree? Because of the generative nature. It is able to generate content, generate images, generate audio, generate videos for you. I think in that context today, every application has to embrace this whole generative technology. So there's a lot of innovation also still pending or still will continue. The point is about how innovations. So this slide, quickly, not getting into too much details. Are you all aware of all this? I'm sure all of you heard RBI. Yes or no? So Reserve Bank of India, I'm sure that is the governing body for all the banks, not only banks, even fintechs. So constantly RBI comes with a lot of regulations, lot of guidelines, lot of advisories which banks have to. So similar stock markets are regulated by SEBI. I told you about insurance. There is a Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. Every insurance company, including even the startup like ACO, right, which is giving you insurance through a mobile app, they are, of course, your traditional LIC or every other insurance companies are very, very strictly regulated by. Are you all getting the importance of regulatory bodies? Very, very, please understand, regulation is a very large space. You may also work in that space. Please understand, all of you, it's very important for you to understand the regulatory ecosystem, the regulatory space. I'm spending a little more time because it's not just fintech alone. Fintech and RegTech, regulatory technology, both have to collaborate, work together because they both cannot exist without each other. Do you agree? Can a fintech say, I don't believe in regulations? Can any bank say, I don't like RBI? Then RBI will say, we don't like you. Fine. Can you please stop business? That is the level, please understand, regulatory bodies, right? That is the relationship between the fintech and RegTech. I'm talking about regulatory tech. Hence, I have a slide about to explain the difference, importance between fintech and RegTech. I'm sure the slides will be there with you for the later reference. So you understand the importance. Can you please read out? I want to read out the RegTech or regulatory technology is a term that refers to technology that helps companies comply. Do you all agree? Compliance is the heart of these companies. If they don't comply, they don't exist, period. Simple. If they don't comply, they don't exist. They will not exist. Regulatory body will ensure that they have to be complying. So complying with regulatory requirements, there are numerous regulatory requirements. Can you all get a phone SIM card without giving Aadhaar card? What is that process called as? The process is called as KYC, correct? Know your customer. Of course, today even you have to show your, probably I can't buy a SIM card on her name. Can I buy a SIM card on her name? No. Because she is required to show her thumb or whatever biometrics. That is KYC. Becoming very, very important. Clear? So now you understand. So I went to SIM card. So who is the regulatory body for telecom? There's a regulatory body called TRAI. Have you heard of TRAI? TRAI. TRAI is the regulatory body. I did not put that in my previous slide because the focus is fintech. So now you understand the importance of regulatory bodies and regulatory requirements. Hence, RegTech is becoming very important. And of course, RegTech companies, they also use a lot of advanced technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, all that to do. So, next slide. So this is how RegTech is helping fintech. Because see, I did not just want to go to cyber security. I first wanted to give you the background of the fintech ecosystem. Because these are all, lot of new things happened in the last few years. Where traditionally fintech was only known for disruption and innovation. Now, because we are coming to a place where things are getting streamlined, so now regulatory bodies are getting very, very, in fact, very particular about how these companies, they also comply with the law of the land and comply with a lot of other regulations which are the foundation for the success of this whole. Otherwise what happens? Suddenly a lot of this innovation may die. We have seen in the past where a lot of companies died because they did not work at the interest of all the stakeholders. It's very important to work in the interest of all stakeholders. So I'm sure I don't want to read every slide. So this is how RegTech, the regulatory technology companies, are helping FinTech to stay compliant, without which they may not exist. So again, I'm sure no presentation, no session, right, today ends without any AI. So I thought I'll put one AI slide, because AI, while you all are using a lot of AI, already using ChatGPT. AI has been there for a while, but AI is also used very much actively in FinTech space. Of course, I'll talk about how AI can be abused, misused, or also being used by cyber criminals. We'll discuss that in cybersecurity section. But I thought I'll talk about how there's a lot of AI being used in the FinTech industry for the benefit, because there are a lot of algorithms, a lot of automation, and a lot of, say, loan prediction, credit scoring, all of them is possible today. Because there's a lot of data, when there's a lot of data that machines can learn and of course can do a lot of benefit for so there's a lot of AI being used in the FinTech space. So anyway, this is just a quick Gartner slide. Just talk about top 10 predictions. Where are we heading towards the future? While we all know AI and all that, just a slide. So now I'll come to, so till now I've spoken about the FinTech. So, but what is the topic? The topic is not talk FinTech alone. The topic is also to talk about, I think we are here, I think as the previous madam was saying, right? I think she did a session, and while she would have spoken about technology, but today technology it always has two sides of the coin, right? It's good and bad, right? So we always have, so technology can be used for good purpose, but that can also be abused, misused. That's exactly what cyber criminals, hackers, adversaries, they do, right? They do by exploiting all the systems, and they can create a lot of disruption. That's exactly what is the domain of cyber security. So long back, cyber security was looked as just a IT problem, technology problem. It's not my issue, it's a technology issue. But how many of you agree cyber security today, it's a business issue? Yes or no? How many of you agree? So probably way back, many years back when I started my journey, the IT head was very powerful and other department heads were very powerful, or they had meaningful roles like C-level titles, right? CTO. How many of you, what is full form CTO? Chief Technology Officer, Chief Information Officer. CEO, you all know, right? He's the head of the company. Chief Executive Officer, Chief Operating Officer. I never thought that I'll become a Chief Information Security Officer for a large enterprise, because CISO role is now becoming very, very important. What is CISO? CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, is the head of. So there's a separate department now, which is a cyber security function, because today companies are realizing the importance of cyber security, because if cyber security function does not exist or they don't do what they're supposed to do, it is a risk to the business. Are you all clear? So the point is, cyber security is no more a IT issue or a technology issue. It's not just about the laptop, desktop, firewall, router. It is not technology. It is more about the process, people, and hence it is becoming. How many of you heard because of cyber attack, because of cyber intrusion, in some country maybe the planes could not fly, train stopped, bank was not functioning? Yes or no? Is it not a business disruption because of cyber attack? It happened, right? It happened in many countries or many places. Recently also, we had some large disruption where lot of companies could not operate. How many of you heard recently, right? Indigo, other airlines, it was there in headlines. They were issuing boarding pass by hand. Have you ever thought you will get a boarding pass or something by hand, right? Because computers were not functioning. It was a cyber issue. So cyber is now no more a technology issue. It is beyond. So that's the, now this is what a quick slide. This, usually I talk about how digital is great, but then while digital transformation is the key, but equally important is while companies are spending a lot of money on technology, but equally they have to be concerned on the other trends and issues on securing them. Do you all agree? If I don't secure the investments what I made, today I'm sure I'm in Madurai, TVS, right? Your TVS group or any large manufacturing company runs on a software called ERP. I'm sure you heard of ERP. What is full form for ERP? Enterprise Resource Planning. SAP is the leader. So imagine if SAP is down, for some reason SAP systems are hacked, SAP is down. Do you agree TVS is down? Yes or no? Because they can't operate, because it happened that a large automobile giant could not produce because their ERP systems were down. ERP systems got compromised. Now you understand the importance. So that's what I'm talking about, how we are in a world where technology has become a very consumer oriented. We all are, early morning we get up through WhatsApp, everything, we are so much dependent on our devices, whether mobile, laptop or a desktop or internet. So a lot of consumerization, lot of emerging technologies, and also there is a continuous pressure on regulations and compliances. I don't know how many of you are aware, if you all are in India, the number 2, there is a new act called Digital Personal Data Protection Act. It's a very, very important and serious act which came recently. It is called, I think all of you know, Europe has something called GDPR. In India, we have this, your personal data. If your personal data, basically it's about safeguarding your personal data. Your personal data is your data. You have rights about the data. That data should not be compromised. And there's a new act now. In fact, sometimes we are very careless in dealing with our personal data, yes or no? We give our Aadhaar numbers to someone, we give our PAN cards to someone, misused, abused. And we are seeing a lot of all these breaches around personal data. To stop that, the country came out, of course, there was a IT Act earlier, but it was not having enough provisions to give empowerment of personal data. Now there is a new dedicated, of course we have an act now which will be much more stringent. Someone is misusing your personal data, they will be penalized. Do you all agree? You go to a mall, someone will ask with a small slip, can you give your mobile number? There is a lottery. You give your mobile number, you give a lot of details, yes or no? That data is abused. Do you agree, all of you? How many of you get a lot of spam calls every day morning, right? You get a spam calls, yes or no? Because why? Because all our personal data is everywhere. And unfortunately, you as a consumer do not have much. Because today, without the act, this data was not being protected safely. Enterprises were misusing, and now that will reduce, of course, that will reduce. So that's the whole point about the regulatory body. This is just to quickly talk about how cyber threats are increasing day by day, because we are living in a very, very different world. The early 2000 world was very different. The systems were not connected. We were living in a non-internet world. It was safe and secure. But now, mid-2015 and beyond, we are living in a very, very connected world. So the more connected world we are, the more we are in a cyber connected space, there are more intrusions, more attacks, and more disruptions. That's the point about this slide. Again, so this is a very interesting report. I recommend all of you to please download this report. So you should see certain reports. See, probably tomorrow in your interview call, this can be a question. Can someone tell what are the top 10, top 5 risks Please understand, I'm not talking technology, I'm talking generally about risk. How many of you understand the definition of risk? Because sometimes we use risk very loosely, right? So this is a very nice report by World Economic Forum. Please download this. This report is free. The report name is called Global Risk Report. Why did I put this? Because while we're talking about the global risk, of course, we all know that extreme weather events, we had landslides, and tsunamis, floods, because we are playing too much with nature. We all know one of the risks is extreme weather. I'm not talking every other risk, but are you seeing cyber insecurity is one biggest risk? Because my focus is to talk cyber security is also now becoming one of the biggest, while there are other risks to be spoken about. Overall, if you look at the top 10 risks, cyber security, basically we are insecure by nature of the systems what we deploy. So cyber security is becoming one of the, basically cyber insecurity is a risk. Of course, cyber security will help you to become more. Basically, cyber security controls will help you to mitigate risk. This is the same slide in the context of how likely our nation will have a cyber attack, how likely an enterprise will get impacted through a cyber attack. And this is one more important survey done. It's called the risk landscape. If you see this, while extreme weather condition is a good big percentage, now this is a very important slide. AI generated misinformation. How many of you heard of this? Today we all believe in WhatsApp, yes or no? Unfortunately, we stopped reading newspaper, right? So we are all gurus of WhatsApp University, right? WhatsApp University and Google University, right? So today, do you agree there's a lot of fake information, yes or no? There's a lot of fake information. When I say fake, so that how to find out is it fake or not? So again, we can use a lot of, because AI is helping people to create, so there's a lot of misinformation, disinformation flowing on the internet. So that's also the biggest risk today. Do you agree? Especially there have been countries where probably people were able to use AI to win elections, because like I'm sure you all know the US, basically we can send some misleading information and change people's mindset, saying that this party is bad, this party is wrong, because we don't validate. I think all of you are watching a lot of reels, right? How many of you agree all those reels are fabricated, yes or no? 90% of the reels what gets created is all fabricated. It's all a lot of misinformation, disinformation. Many times we also keep forwarding, right? Yes or no? My father will forward me something, it's all fake. I said, don't forward that. It's all fake information. Don't get carried away by fake information. So today, AI generated misinformation is one of the biggest other risk. And of course, societal, political polarization, cost of living, we all know cost of living is going high. And the last one, 39% of the CEOs or people who have been interviewed said that the biggest concern for us is cyber attacks. We saw recently or a few years back, Cognizant had a ransomware attack. I'm sure all of you know. Cognizant is one of the very large IT companies. It was there in public domain. So the way they had ransomware attack, or there are plenty of companies having data breaches. So for all that, you need a dedicated function to help mitigate, manage the risk, which is a cyber security function. So it is a function which is working very closely with the other functions to secure the enterprises. Now in that context is what I don't want to, in fact, go into more detail of each of the slides are there for your consumption. I just put this top 10 security threats. Each slide explains the top 10. I don't want to go in detail, but I'm sure. How many of you keep getting phishing emails? How many of you get emails which is called what? Oh, click this link, you'll win lottery. Click this link, there's a job offer. Click this link, you'll get some money. These are all called phishing emails. That phishing email kind of attacks are called as social engineering attack. I just wanted to only talk about this one, not every other. There are total 10 or 15 threats which are very, very serious today. I'll just quickly pass through third-party exposure. We are living in a third-party world. I'll just quickly move slide by slide because I just put that for your reference if at all you're interested. But today, a lot of misconfigurations, mistakes by people are also exploited by the adversaries. So there's a lot of configuration issues. And I'm sure each one of you carry a lot of passwords. Now what is your email password? What is your Facebook password? Instagram password? And usually we all know it. Passwords, the loose passwords, right? Maybe your pet name, first name, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Usually maybe your best friend and 1, 2, 3, 4. Then when Facebook says no, we need a strong password, you add one more number, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now still Facebook says no, I need strong password. Okay, then 6 becomes 7. So do you agree, all of you? So these passwords which are easily guessed. So a lot of attacks happens because of poor cyber hygiene and because of this. So 90% of the cyber issues are not because of hackers coming to hack your system. They are just taking the advantage of your miss. Do you all agree? You all take it very lightly. Now can you afford to put your bank account password as 1, 2, people keep saying that, people keep blaming banks. Hey, this person lost money. Now, how did he lose money? Some guy from UP, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand calling, I'm calling from bank, can you give some OTP to me? And you are giving OTP without validating easy person from the bank. Yes or no? 90% of the frauds, please understand, all the cyber frauds are not because of technology, because of our own lack of awareness. Do you agree? So my request to all of you, please, while cyber is great, all of you, if you don't take care of your own hygiene, what is hygiene? Like early morning we get up and brush, yes or no? I don't think your parents need to still say that early morning get up and brush and take bath. The same way the hygiene in cyber, you are very happily using WhatsApp, Facebook, bank account, Paytm wallet, Phone Pay, but unfortunately we are not taking care about the cyber hygiene. What is cyber hygiene? Your mobile phones have to be careful, have passwords, lock screens, maybe some antivirus software, right? Or not clicking any link, and don't share your passwords to your friends. OTP should never be shared. Even a person saying I'm calling from bank, because bank never calls you. Unfortunately, banks have been doing so much of awareness, but still people lose money. And can someone tell me what is the other reason people losing money? I usually call it as greed, yes or no? What do you mean by greed? Someone said that, oh, I'll make your money double. Oh, double, okay. There's nothing called, so greed and of course lack of awareness, these two are the biggest drivers. People lose money because someone said that, oh, there's a new chemical, you can put that chemical and suddenly white paper will become currency notes. It's not magic, right? People have lost money. I'm sure all of you know this Nigerian scams, right? Nigerian scams, lottery scams. How many of you keep getting emails, you won a lottery of 1 crore? Press this link, that's it. You'll get 1 crore. 1 crore, does it come just like that? Do you agree it's all greed, yes or no? But still people press the link. After pressing the link, oh, 1 crore will come. Then you know what happens, right? The fraudster is waiting, you press the link, he'll ask you some more details. There have been n number of scams. Please be careful. Cyber hygiene, I use this word cyber hygiene because hygiene, not just only using device, but you yourself being more aware. Always be conscious, be very, very pessimistic, always doubt. Before you press a link, anyone, any form, any information, never ever give any information. That's the biggest problem. Of course, the other vulnerabilities are there, plenty of there. Mobile device. Each of your mobile device is highly, highly vulnerable because we use Android, right? You never update your security updates. And of course, there's a lot of ransomware attacks increasing day by day. I don't want to cover all of them. Every device today is connected on the internet. So IoT itself, IoT is a great thing, but it's also, if IoTs are vulnerable, it can be a big risk. And then of course, the last two, poor data management and inadequate post-attack procedure. This is most for enterprises, and these are the top 10. Of course, there are a lot of other challenges for fintech companies because they have to stay compliant, they have to innovate, they have to look at a lot of other issues which I spoken about the fintech. And fintechs, while they do a lot of innovation, equally they also have to be very serious on compliances, regulations. So these are all typical top 10 cyber security challenges for information security or cyber security. While the discussion today topic is fintech, but please understand, cyber security applies to every enterprise, small, medium, large. While the discussion is more fintech because fintechs are more targeted. Do you agree, all of you? Why they are targeted? Because they deal with money, they deal with financial information. So financial data is much more vulnerable. Hence, fintech's cyber security has to be much more serious. But otherwise, generally, whatever is spoken about, all that applies to each and every enterprise who is using a lot of information. This is just to look at some trends. There are a lot of trends today. And now this is a very interesting slide. Very, very interesting slide. If at all you put some thoughts. I know you guys are all busy in gossiping, but can you look at that? What does slide says? What does slide says? Are you prepared for next data breach? It is like asking yourself, right? When will I fall from that bike? When will it fall? Can you tell me? So the point what I'm making is there is no organization in the world who will not have a data breach. Can you guarantee yourself that I'm immune with everything? I think we all saw in COVID times, right? Was there anyone fully immune in spite of taking 2 doses of COVID vaccine, right? Still people were having a lot of apprehension, when will they get that, what? So similar way, why I'm referring back to the COVID vaccine, and do you agree every person on the planet was impacted by that COVID, yes or no? Of course, some large, some small, some medium. The impact, it all depends on your immunity, right? Similar way, large enterprises were invested heavily in cyber security solutions. They may have less impact, but there is no company in the world who can believe or who will say that I will never going to have, I'll have a data breach. It's only, so today boards and management is asking themselves, are we prepared for the next data breach? Clear, all of you? Do you agree? This statement is correct? You cannot stop data breach. You cannot stop a cyber intruder. You cannot stop adversaries. What you can do? You can reduce the risk. You be prepared. So example, see, in spite of, I spoken about all this scams and all, there are good educated people falling scam. It's not that only some senior citizens and uneducated people are pressing link. No, there was a police officer a police officer lost money. No, it is not that. So usually we'll go to police station to complain, but he lost money. So there is basically the point what I'm making is no one is immune. So the point is organizations need to be prepared for the next data breach, and with more cloud adoption and with more and more, in fact, enterprises are adopting cloud, embracing cloud. I'm sure all of you know cloud is the next good thing, but it has a lot of other challenges also. So hence, organizations are at risk. So there are a lot of industry best practices. Last few slides, I know, just last few slides, have some patience. Because while we've spoken about a lot of compliances, so there are a lot of industry compliance programs, best practices. So these are few of them. I know you don't need to understand everything in detail, but like most of the large cloud providers or even companies, they get certified against ISO 27001, or there are other certifications like PCI DSS, and these are all compliance standards, basically to ensure that they are compliant against certain industry best practices to stay secure. So that's the whole point which I thought I will make it. I think we are at the last, and these are all various country regulations. Every country has different regulations, and I thought, and especially in the cloud, you cannot blame only the cloud provider. You as a customer also has certain responsibility, hence it runs on a shared responsibility model. With that note, I think I just also want to touch upon the last part. This is the last slide, and very, very important slide for all of you as students. Do you, please understand, you all doing everything for job, right? Do you know that there is a huge shortage of cyber securities? There is a lot of skill gap, the skill crisis. People are today preferred, basically your advantage of being recruited or being employed is much more when you have cyber skill. So cyber security skills, there is a huge shortage. You can still, while you're doing your whatever management studies, in that also cyber is becoming very important. Tomorrow you will get into your career. So cyber skill, there's a lot of shortage. Hence I want to end up this slide because naturally I'm talking in an academic institution, and you all have to improve your skills. I'm sure all of you believe in upskilling, learning, and I wanted to end up with last slide saying that this is a very, very important skill which each one of you should carry for you to being successful in your career. With that slide, I end up. Thank you all of you for your patient listening, and feel free to, you are free to ask any questions. I'm happy to answer. You can ask me anything, not related only to the slides what I covered. Anything you want to ask me around cyber security, I'll be happy to respond. And feel free, my name is very unique. I'm sure you saw my name, and you can connect me on LinkedIn also. I'm very active on LinkedIn. And all the best for your future, and I'm sure you will take this knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge out there. You can Google and learn. So any questions? I'm done with my session. Any questions? You are free to ask. Looks like all of you are hungry. No questions. Anyone? Anyway, usually I take it positively. No questions means whatever is spoken was understood well, right? No doubts. No questions at all? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Just you have given a holistic view of importance of cyber security. Now is the time for honoring our chief guest. For this, I would like to invite the second year students, Venkatesh, to come up on the stage. And also I would like to invite our senior faculty, Dr. S. Pugarenji sir, Sivadoji sir, Maniraj and Karthi Babu sir. Please come on to the stage. Please participate in honoring our chief guest. On behalf of RLIMS, I extend heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Satish Kumar Dwibhashi sir for delivering such an insightful and thought-provoking speech on the importance of cybersecurity. Your expertise and deep understanding of vital field have provided us with valuable perspective and actionable knowledge on what as a students that we have to know about the importance of cybersecurity and risk and the governance and compliances in cybersecurity. The challenges and advancement you have highlighted will undoubtedly inspire us and guide us, and we navigate the complexities of the digital world. Your contribution to today's event has been immensely enriching, and we are grateful for your commitment and enhancing and understanding of importance of cybersecurity in Fintech. Many thanks to our respected President and Principal, Vice Principal and faculty members who are indeed RLMS real assets and have made this event a grand success. I thank you for giving me the pleasure of hosting this wonderful event today. Thank you all for your attention and participation. Please stand up for a national anthem.
जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा, द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा, उच्छल जलधि तरंगा, तव शुभ नाम